Okay, here we go. We're going to be doing a little crash course on dividing decimals. We're going to be putting two lessons together. In Chapter 3, we're going to do Chapter 3, Lessons 7 and 8. Again, it's literally going to be a crash course. We should know how to divide. The only thing that is going to be changing or that might look different is that we're going to be working with a decimal. So we're going to work on dividing a decimal by a whole number. And then we're going to work on dividing a decimal by a decimal. You're going to get some practice problems that we're going to work through together. And then that's it. So it's going to be short, sweet, and to the point because division you should already know how to do. And this is just a little, like I said, crash course. So your book needs to be open to page 234. And we literally are going to be jumping right into practicing, okay? So here's the only thing that is going to be different. When you take a look on page 234, let me give you a second to make sure you get there. If not, hit pause and come back at it. Okay. You're going to see right here that it says, for the directions, it says divide and round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So, for example, if we have an answer that keeps going 5.3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and it just keeps going on and on and on. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. So that 4 is going to tell that 3 to stay the same, which means that would be 5 3/10. Okay, so if we have an answer that's going to keep going, or a decimal that's going to be repeating itself, for example, 16.33333 and keeps going on and on and on, we're going to round to the nearest tenth, and that's going to be 16.3, and we're going to put a line over that 3, which means that 3 keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. Okay, that's called the bar notation, and if a number keeps repeating at the end, we're just going to round to the nearest tenth and put that bar notation over it. Okay, all right, so we're going to get started with number 1. It says 6 3/10 divided by 4. So remember, we're going to do 6 3/10 divided by 4. Now, here's what you have to remember when you are dividing a decimal by a whole number. All we're going to do, meaning that we have this number on the outside, does not have a decimal. Okay? The number is the dividend, the number we are dividing by. The number inside is the divisor. We're going to take this decimal point, and all we're going to do is move it straight up, and then we're going to ignore it. Okay? We're not going to do anything else with it. We're just going to divide. So if I have 3, can I make a group of 4? No. I'm going to put my 0 there, right above that 3. This is where you have to make sure you're really nice and neat on your math, okay, when you're working through problems. Now I look at 36. If I have 36, how many groups of 4 can I make? Well, I know that I can make 9 because 9 times 4 is 36, and I have nothing left over. So I'm done. My answer is 0 9/10. Did I have to round? Nope. That one was easy, okay? Let's take a look at the next one. And I hope I have enough room. I have a tendency to write big. So 12 32/100 divided by 22. Since my number on the outside is a whole number, I'm just going to take this decimal and I'm going to move it up. Okay? If I have 1, can I make a group of 22? Nope. What about 12? Can I make a group of 22? Nope. So I'm going to put a 0 there. Now I'm at 123. When I take 123, I know that I can multiply 22 times 6. So if I go 22 times 6 down here, just to double check my math, 12, 13, that gives me 132. So is that enough? Or is that too much? No, yeah, that's too much. Okay, so that does not work. Okay, so what if I did 5? So 22 times 5, 0. And I get 5, 10, 11. There you go. So I realized that that 6 did not work. And it's easy. I can just erase it because I went over. So now I have 110. And now I'm going to subtract. I get 3. I bring down that 1 and I get 13. Now I bring down the 2 and take a look. I get 132. Well, I've already done the math right there and I know that that goes in 6 times, so I get 132, and when I subtract, I get nothing. I'm not going to add any more zeros. I don't need to do anything else. I have nothing left over, so there's my answer, 0 56/100. Okay? And let's take a look at, let's jump over to the next page and do some of these over here. Okay? All right, let's take a look at number 1, just because I have more room to work. Those other ones get kind of crowded. Okay, so we're going to take, whoa, look at that. Touch it with my hand. All right, we're going to take 39 and 39/100ths, and we're going to divide it by 3. Since I'm dividing by a whole number, all I need to do is move that decimal point up, first and foremost. Always remember to move that decimal point up. If I have 3, can I make a group of 3? I can. I can make 1. So 1 times 3 is 3, and I bring down my 9. If I have 9, how many groups of 3 can I make? I can make 3. 3 times 3 is 9. I subtract, and I get 0. But I have to bring this number down. Here we go. So if I have 3, I know that I can make a group of 1, group of 3, and I subtract, and I've got another number I got to bring down, which is 9. If I have 9, how many groups of 3 can I make? 3, because that's 9, and there you go. Okay? So I don't need to even round that to the nearest tenth because I don't have anything left over. So my answer is 13 and 13/100ths. All right, let's take a look at this next one. 118 and 5/10 divided by 5. I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal point up there. I know if I have 11, I can make 2 groups, which gives me 10. I'm going to subtract. Bring 11 minus 10 is 1. Bring down the 18. If I have 18, how many groups of 5 can I make? Well, I know that I can make 3 because that's 15. I subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. I'm going to bring down that 5. Here we go. I've got 35, and I know that that goes in 7 times, and I'm left with nothing. Again, I didn't have to round that one. Okay, didn't have to round to the nearest tenth. Let's see if I can find one that I have to do that to. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do this one down here. It looks long, guys. It's not long. It's not scary. I'm going to go ahead and erase this a little bit so I got some room. Okay, so we're going to do 336 and 752 thousandths divided by 31. Since I'm dividing by a whole number, I just need to move that decimal point up. That's it. Okay, now I can do the problem. Start with 3. If I have 3, can I make a group of 31? Nope. If I have 33, can I make a group of 1? Or can I make a group of 31? Yes, I can make it 1. See, I give you guys the answers all the time. Jeez Louise. Okay, so 33 minus 31, I know that I get left with 2. I'm going to bring that 6 down. Now I have 26. If I have 26, can I make a group of 31? No. So that means 0. 0 times 31 is 0. I'm going to subtract. Notice I'm still following all of my rules. Bring down. I have 267. So 31, 30, 60, 90. So do you see how we can kind of skip count? I'm going to say let's try times 8. Okay, let's see what happens when we multiply 31 times 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24, so 248. Well, if I add another 38, I'm going to go over 267. So I know that it can go in 8 times, which gives me 248. I'm going to subtract. I know that I need to come over here and get a 10, 9, leaves me with 19. Now I've got to bring down this 5. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to bring down that 5. Now I have 195. Let's see, 30, 60, 90. I don't know. Let's try 31 times 6 just to see. 6 times 1 is 6 and 18. Very good. So I think that that works. So we're going to go 6. 186. I'm going to subtract. And I know that that's 8, 15, 9. Okay, I still have this other number. I've got a 2. 31 times something. Well, 31 times 3 is going to give me, that's going to give me 93. That's over. So I know it's got to be 31 times 2. Well, that's pretty easy. 31 times 2 is going to be 62, because 31 plus 31 is 62. Okay, so I'm going to subtract. I'm going to be left with 30. Now take a look here. Guess what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to add a 0, and I'm going to have to keep going. Okay, but this is where it is super nice that it says round to the nearest tenth. Well, we've already gotten there, so here's my answer. I'm going to switch colors here. My answer is this right now. But we need to round, and we know it's going to keep going, right? But we need to round to the nearest tenth. So that 6 is going to tell the 8 to go up. So it's going to be 10 and 9/10 for your answer. Okay? All right. So now what I want you to do is I want you to turn to page 243. Make sure that I have it down here. 243 is right there. Okay. Here's the only thing that is going to change and be different. You're not going to be you're going to be dividing a decimal by a decimal. Okay? So, for example, you're going to have 1 and 44 hundredths, and you are dividing by 0 and 4/10. Now, here's the kicker, and what is different from when you're dividing a decimal by a whole number. We have to make this number a whole number, so we need to get rid of that decimal. But here's how you get rid of the decimal. Whatever you do to the number on the outside, you have to do to the number on the inside. So if I'm going to make this a whole number, I'm going to move that decimal one place to the right, which means it's going to now get rid of this, and now it becomes 4 because I've moved it over. So if I move that decimal one place on the outside number, I have to move it on the inside number, otherwise known as the divisor. Okay, so now my decimal point is here. So now this looks like all of the problems that we just did. I'm just going to move my decimal point up. So I have moved it over one time because that's how many times I moved it on the outside, and I'm just going to move it up. All right, so I have how many groups of 14, or I have 14, how many groups of 4 can I make? Well, I can make 3. That gives me 12. I'm going to subtract 4 minus 2, 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus 1 is nothing. I have 24. If I have 24, how many groups of 4 can I make? That'd be 6. 24, 0. 3 and 6/10. Okay, super easy, right? Super, super easy. All we're going to do is just move the decimal points. So 0 and 6/10. This goes on the inside. It's the first number you say, divided by, now check this out, 0 and 24 10,000ths. Now we want to keep moving that decimal over so we get a whole number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means I have to move my inside number by 4 as well. 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to extend my bar, and I'm going to annex zeros in there. And I'm just going to put my decimal point up there. Now, it looks scary, but let's get rid of the numbers we don't need. So really, it's going to be 24. Okay, and we're going to just literally divide it by 6,000. Okay, so 6,000 divided by 24. I said that backwards. Okay, because I've moved all of these out. All right, so if I have 24, or if I have 60, how many groups of 24 can I do? I can do 2, which is 48. When I subtract, I know I get 12. I'm going to bring that 0 down. When I take 24 times, I don't know, let's try times 5, because 20 times 5, yeah, let's try 5. So 5 times 4 is 20. 10, 2, 120, look at that. 5, 120, 0. I still have one more 0. If I have 0, can I make a group? Nope, my answer is 250. 250. Okay, let's take a look at number, this is going to be the last one. So 13 and 5/10 divided by 0 and 3/100. I see that I need to move this 2 places, 1, 2. I'm going to move it 2 places, 1, 2. I'm going to annex a 0, and I'm going to bring my decimal point up, and now I'm done. So now I have 3, and then I have 1,350 divided by 3. I know that that can go in there 4 times, which is 12, 1, 15. I know that I can do that by 5, because that's 15, 0, 0, and I get 450. And notice my decimal point's at the end. So sometimes you're going to have the decimal point in the answer. Sometimes you'll just have it at the end. Okay? Again, that was a crash course on just division. The only thing you have to remember is if the whole number is on the outside, we're just going to move that decimal point up. We need that